Welcome back to Millennial Thoughts Podcast with your favorite Black and educated women, Alicia
and Kat, and we are on our millennial money journey.
Two millennial women navigating adulthood, learning everything that college didn't teach us.
Let's get to the biz.
Budgeting, investing, savings, and student loans.
But first, make sure you join our Facebook group, Millennial Thoughts, so you can keep up with the new episodes, join the conversation, and get resources to help you on your personal finance journey.
If you enjoy this episode, please leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you may listen. And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Millennial Thoughts Pod. 2 L's, 2 N's. Now to the thought of the day. As you know, this month is National Black Business Month, so our millennial mogul is Justina Ware. She is based in Toronto, Ontario, and she sells travel accessories from personalized luggage to passport covers. Her most recent product she created was travel binders. Don't let COVID hold you back. You can still save for travel. And she's doing a giveaway. Yay! All you have to do is follow us on Instagram at Millennial Thoughts Pod, Alicia's Adventures, and Custom to Fly with a 2. And comment your birthday on Millennial Thoughts' latest IG post, and you'll be entered in to win. The contest goes until the 22nd, and we will announce the winner on the 23rd. But while you are waiting, make sure you go out and check customtofly.com and check out all her home decor and her travel accessories. Today, we are on the podcast with Kalai Bell. She empowers those struggling with personal finance budgets, tackle debt, save money, and confront fears through her financial coaching services. Nice to meet you, Kalai. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing good also.
Thanks for joining us today on the podcast to share a little bit about your money journey.
No problem. I'm excited.
Yes. And for the people who may not know you, can you just tell them what a financial coach is or how you got into financial coaching?
Yes. So a financial coach involves someone who is focused on helping individuals with their personal finances. I mean, you kind of touched it when you were talking about the intro. I help people budget, debt payoff planning, stacking them coins so they can go and travel wherever they want. In summary, a financial coach is someone that helps you manage the money that you're receiving and helps to teach financial literacy so that you make better decisions.
Oh, okay. Financial literacy is really coming out a lot now. I feel like it's very important in this generation as millennials or whatever to just learn more about how to do your finances and how to put it out there and just figure out different things because everybody wasn't taught that. And then also everybody's not learning about it. So
facts. So if you just think about it, like the way our parents or even our grandparents budgeted their checkbook, that's not how you're going to budget your checkbook nowadays. I mean, you can, it's just that most people aren't going to write down every time they write a transaction, pull out their little tracker and do it right then and there. Fortunately for us, we have very detailed bank statements. Most banks have some type of app that allows you to track. And then there are apps like Mint that are created now. So it just makes it a lot easier to be digital with your tracking. But I mean, I understand people who are old school. I like my paper too.
Okay. And so when I was going through, I guess I'm switching a little bit in as far as asking questions. But when I was going through your Instagram, you had a little post about how if someone want to save 500. Now, can you talk a little bit about that? How should they go about saving $500?
Okay, so saving $500. I mean, there are a few things to think about, right? So first, you want to make sure that you incorporate some no spend days into your budget. I recommend at least 3. This means on that day, you do not go out and spend extra money. This
Okay.
doesn't mean you don't pay your rent on that day. Yes, you pay your rent. That's a normal. That's a normal meal.
Guess I
But
won't buy my rent.
yes, please pay your rent. Don't be going out there saying, "Kayla told me not to pay my rent today."
Right.
No, so like a no spend day means, okay, today I'm not gonna buy any out to eat food. Today I'm not gonna go grocery shopping on this day, or I know some people like to buy their groceries every day. You should really plan those things ahead. Unless
Yeah.
you just like going into the grocery store every single day. I'm not one of those people. You can't go out and buy coffee that day. Every single thing you do needs to come from something you have in your home.
Okay. So then how would as far, because I know it's hard, trust me, I've been there. I could be an overspender sometimes. I've become a little bit cheap myself now, but
Yeah.
it's so hard to teach yourself discipline. How would someone go about just working on that discipline aspect of it, of learning how to just not spend in 3 days or something?
Yeah. So first, I definitely say that someone has to be sick and tired of their current situation. You have to be so upset that you don't have $500 saved.
Yeah.
I remember for me personally, I wanted to travel the world and I didn't want to travel on credit. So it was like, well, how can I save this money? How can I make it happen? While personally for me, the no spend day isn't that hard as long as you prepare. So one thing that you can do is you can make sure that you're preparing your meals. So you cook all of your meals that week, every week. That doesn't mean every single meal you eat has to come from the house. That just means that you budgeted a good amount for your groceries. You make sure you cooked all your meals, and I'm gonna say at least six at the minimum.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. And then you want to make sure you set a time frame. I think the if you make something that's too strict on yourself, you're not going to want to stick to it. So let's say you wanted to save $500 in 4 weeks. You want to save $125 a week. If you know you cannot save $125 a week, don't do that to yourself. Instead, give yourself 6 weeks or 8 weeks where you would then be able to save $62, a week. That's more reasonable for some people.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying then. And so when you're talking about the things that you said you were doing, you're sick and tired of that you want to travel and everything like that. I feel like a big thing in the personal finance journey is figuring out what you want to sacrifice and when you want to sacrifice and how you want to sacrifice. So I know you said one was you wanted to travel the world. So when you look at it with your sacrifices, what maybe even other things, what else do you feel like you have to sacrifice to becoming debt free in a sense?
Husband and I, we wish we was debt free. We are definitely closer to the end of our journey. COVID definitely decided to throw everything out the window.
Okay.
By the end of this year, if everything had went according to plan, we would have had no credit card debt. We would have had the majority of the car paid off. But what we decided to do is we decided to put everything that we could into our emergency fund, because if I lost my job or he lost his job, we didn't feel financially stable at that point. Girl, I wish I was financially stable. I have paid off some debt, but we're not there yet. We
gonna get there though.
We chucking on though.
Okay, I'm cracking up. And, within that journey, within that journey that you're still paying off, what do you feel like you're still sacrificing now to pay it off? With, I guess, if COVID didn't happen or something like that, what do you feel like were some of your biggest sacrifices that you've dealt with?
Well, definitely, I would say that it would be the husband and I sacrifice. So we do our finances together. I know not all couples do it. I highly recommend it. It's one less stress that you have to worry about because you're making all of your decisions together. However, so for us, things that we've had to sacrifice is going out with friends. We budget $200 a month for going out to eat or going out. And so, I mean, now with that is a caveat, right? So if we know, J. Cole coming to town, we gonna plan for that so we can go see J. Cole. But we do $200. So that means that if we go to the restaurant twice and then do something fun, we could. That's 3 outings in a month. You know, with Corona, we don't get those.
I know.
You know, we're not really getting that opportunity right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's one sacrifice that we
Yeah.
definitely made.
Oh, and I was just wondering because I mean I don't know if you want people to know where you live, but I know where you live, and I'm like, dang, I know that's a popping city and stuff like that. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I could do that one.
Yeah, I mean
like,
that's fine. I'm in the Houston area, and so yeah, it's definitely a lot going on in Houston all the time.
And I'm like, dang, I heard they got the nice food, you know. Well, of course, with Corona, we ain't really going nowhere. Texas really needs to be locked back down, but in general, yeah, in general, I just was like, oh my goodness, like that's a poppin' city. And so I have a question. This is kind of like I just like threw it in here because you talked about you and your husband like sharing finances or whatever, and I just want to get your take on this question. So I was watching this video yesterday that my friend sent me. I don't know if did you ever watch Family Matters? You know Lauren's best friend, Maxine. I think her name was the light skinned girl. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Or no?
I feel like I have an idea.
It's okay. It's okay because I don't even really like. I remember her, but I don't really remember her. But she was on this podcast, and it was like, should women pay for dates? And it was like, this man or whatever. I want to pull it up, but I don't want it to get messed up. But basically, like this lady, so like someone he was interested in was like, hey, I want to go here. Can you take me here or something like that? And so the man was like, okay, I don't want to take it. I don't want to like say no to her, but like I have a budget. But he was like, okay, well maybe she think I'm financially responsible. And so he was like, well, hey, like it's not in the budget right now. I can't take you to this place, but next month I can take you to this place. Like if we get to that next month or whatever. And like she didn't text him back at all. Like she left him on red.
Well, okay. So for me, like I would immediately be like, "Oh, dang, she immature," right? Like that's my response to it. Not even at least texting him back. I feel like that's immature.
However, no, I do feel like that's rude. She didn't text back. Yeah,
like he was trying. That's just rude. I feel like there are multiple approaches, you know, right, to like a problem. Personally, that wouldn't have bothered me at all. I would have been like, okay, that's cool. Where, you know, what's in budget this month? Especially if I like the person. If I'm not just going out for them to get a free meal, then I mean, I want to get to know them.
Yes.
So what I will say is that there are all types of different people up in this world. And there are definitely women who believe men should pay for 100% of everything. And there are women who don't. I'm one of those who don't. I mean, when my husband and I first started dating, yeah, he might have paid for, you know, more of the meals than I did, but I would pay for a meal here, you know, I pay for the movies there, or we'll go out to eat into the movies and he'll pay for the dinner and I pay for the movies or vice versa. At the end of the day, the way I approach relationships and the way I've seen a lot of people approach relationships, also their finances within the relationship, is that it's teamwork. So if one person feels like the other person is holding back, there's going to cause problems in the long run. Granted, separate finances has definitely worked for some people. I've just seen it fail, crash, and burn for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm cracking up. Well, my parents, like, they do have separate accounts, but they also have joint accounts for bills and stuff like that. So I do think it is different depending on, like, what financial state they are in. I just thought I would like get your opinion because like you're married and you like talk about finances with your husband as well, which I do think I'm like I don't know because I don't want to be like that 1% person. I don't know if I'd have been taken back from it maybe like before this year. Like someone's like, oh, I'm on a budget, that's not my budget. Me personally, I don't do budgets, so that would be something. But I was like, well, they'd be like, well, you say you want men to be honest, so like at least he was honest. But then
at
it's like
least he was honest.
but then I'm like me personally, like I don't even really care to go to fancy restaurants. So I'm like, we could go somewhere else. Like I don't even care honestly. But it's just be like, oh my gosh, like he said he's on a budget. Like, what's the budget? Like I don't know what the budget is. So I thought
I
that was
mean,
like kind of
so there are
interesting.
people who don't budget, like they do it all in their head, and then
Mhm.
there are people who are expert budgeters, like myself. I like budgets because it creates a plan, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's literally a plan. I know when everything's due. I know when I get paid. If I went out and bought that Louis purse that I've been wanting, that's one of my goals, in the future.
You
When
sound
I'm
like my
completely different in
friends.
everything, I'm getting me a
Yes.
Louis.
My
But
friends want
like
a Louis too.
but like if I went out and bought it today, I mean like
Yeah.
that's about to throw everything off.
Yep.
Yeah, I might have the money in cash. I might go get it in cash, but guess what? Now I'm short on something else that I was supposed to be paying for.
Or you still
Definitely.
that you have to worry about. So it's just like you really just got to think really carefully. But definitely when you're financial free, get you that Louis bag.
I'm gonna get that Louis, girl. That's my goal.
I am cracking up. I definitely agree with you. I don't know if I don't really want a Louis, but I'm like, everybody wants a Louis, but I want something else. I'm trying to think. I don't even know. Oh, I do know what I want to do. When I become financial free, I'm trying to take a trip around the world.
I support that too. But I want like a white and gray Louis. I'm not the traditional brown one. I want the white and gray Louis.
Okay, I see what
That's
you're
over
saying.
here.
Yes. So you talk about budgeting, and so I know you talk about saving $500 and different things like that. What are like 5 ways people can start to even save money? I know you said no spend days. That's something that I heard before. Do you have any
Yes.
other tips that people can start to try to save money?
Definitely set long-term goals. Okay, so like let's say a long-term goal, which is actually a goal for the husband and I, is to buy a house in 4 years, right?
Okay.
So what are some micro goals to help us reach that long-term goal? Like that's the next step. After you set your long-term goals, what's a micro goal to help reach it? Okay, so first we need a house fund. Like we're going to have to pay for the closing costs. We're going to have to pay for, application fees. We're going to have to furnish the house. Like it's just so many things that we need to think about. I mean, and we got to pay a percentage down for the loan. So there's so many things to think about. So like now we have to plan that out. So let's create a house fund. A house fund definitely depends on the type of house you want, the size of house you want, the area you want. So then those are all the things, the little things that you then have to research, right? So let's say our goal is $40,000. So I say set at least 2 no spend days, but it also depends on how long you have to reach your goal. We have 4 years to reach our goal, so we have a little bit more time. We're not like trying to buy a house in a year, So one way to help reach that goal would be to make sure that we're automating our savings each month. And when I say automate your savings, I don't mean you just automate for your money to enter your regular checking account, or for your money to even enter the savings account connected to your checking account. I'm talking about a high yield interest savings account.
Come on.
Automate that
Yes.
money straight to there. Let your money work for you. Even if you only earning, we're gonna blame Rona again. The interest rate has definitely went down compared to what it was like at the beginning of this year, or even like mid of last year. But it's still a lot higher than what the majority of these banks are giving you, which is usually like 0.01 or 0.025. Like high yield interest, you can earn 1% and more. So like let them pennies add up.
Yeah, no, you're right. For sure. I just ended up getting a high yield savings account. I was a little bit upset about Rona, of how much my interest rate is now, but
yeah,
before I think it was like 1.61 or something, and because of Rona now it's 1.31, but like it's still something.
It's still something. That money is still hitting your account.
Exactly.
And then I mean, personally, we use Ally, and what I do like about Ally is that you can have one bank account, but then you got all these different envelopes, so it's a lot easier to plan out and reach your goals. Even though there are definitely some more high yield interest accounts that have higher interest rates, but that's just the one that we chose to go with.
How do you spell that? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
ALLY.
ALLY. Okay, I think I've heard of that one.
They do not have a brick and mortar location. They're 100% online. They offer like a checking account, high yield, and trading. We just use the high yield interest savings account. So definitely, like if there's one thing that I would recommend somebody to do today, open yourself a high yield interest savings account and automate your savings to go in there. Money that you do not see is money you cannot spend.
That's right. I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that because I literally just put money into it and I don't even think about it. It's like I magically forgot about it.
Yes. So
that's what you have to do.
That? Like how would someone start to what would you recommend? Like start with $5, $500? I don't know. Like if people don't even know like what a high yield savings is.
I definitely say it all depends on your income level, right? How much money you're making a month, week, bi-weekly, however you get paid. I would definitely recommend not opening the account until you at least have $1,500 saved. Once you have $1,500 saved, I recommend transferring $1,000 to your Ally account and keeping $500 in the savings account that's in your bank, that's connected to your checking account. The reason why
1,000. So 1,000 in the checking, 500 in the savings. Or did I get that opposite?
You got it completely wrong.
Hold on, what?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. What I'm trying to.
So once you say 1,500 in your savings account that's connected to your checking account, you then transfer $1,000 to your high yield interest savings account, and you keep that 500 in your savings account that's connected to your bank. The reason why I take this approach in dealing with finances is because there is a lag when you have an online bank account to whenever you need that money. However, if you keep $500 in your savings account for emergencies only, then you'll still have access to that money immediately if you need it. Like let's say your battery goes out in your car, you can go on over to, the auto store and be like, hey, I need a new battery.
So you're talking about a different account, but have it connected to your savings account, or did I still get it wrong?
So your high yield savings account would be with Ally. Your regular bank account would be like Chase, Wells Fargo. Like you need. Even though I also do recommend looking into credit unions because their fees are a lot less. So.
And I never understood why people use banks. Honestly, I use credit unions.
I use credit unions, but. Some people are like, well, I need to be able to go to the ATM everywhere. And I'm like, but they got sister locations.
Oh, that's true.
And then on top of that, with my credit union, I get my check a little bit earlier than everyone.
Me too. I get my check 3 days earlier. I'm like, so.
Dang, I never thought about that, like the pros and cons of banks. I actually have a bank and a credit union, but I've always heard like banks have higher fees in credit unions, but I guess credit unions do depend on your location.
There's definitely nothing wrong with having a credit union and a bank account, but I definitely recommend getting a credit union account because the fees, they don't charge you as many fees. Like if you lose your job, right, and you're not getting paid anymore, a bank is going to charge you a fee to keep that account open. Your credit union is not.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And even like your annual like interest rate that you have to like pay or whatever for my credit union, it's literally like cents or dollars that I have to pay every year. So it really does help to have a credit union.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I wanted to ask you, was there like a significance of like why y'all chose 4 years to like do home ownership, or is it just like something that's like maybe important like for the future?
So we were actually pretty comfortable with our current living situation in an apartment, but then I got a new job and a new day job, and the new day job requires like both of us to work from home, and so a 1-bedroom apartment that's not gonna cut it. So but we also wanted to rent a house before we buy a house, so we can see the things that we like, the things we don't like, before we make the investment in actually buying a house. Specifically 4 years because we plan on having children in 2 years.
Okay.
And then 4 years, that gives us enough time. I know for some people they want to buy a house before they have kids, but the immediate home ownership isn't something that is like high on our priority list. It's a goal that we want to have, but we're okay if our child is 1 or 2 when we move into that house.
Yeah, definitely fine. I'm like, home ownership, I'll see you in about 10 years.
Yeah. Like owning a home is
it's
work.
much. Yeah, you gotta keep the grass and do this. And I'm like, I don't, but then I'm like, but I hate paying rent too. So at this point, that's what
yeah. I mean, both got their downside, girl.
Yes, so I'm cracking up.
So again, I'm gonna relate this back to your Instagram. And I first want to say that I really like the fuller than life model because I'm a visual learner, and I think that's the best
Thank you
to go about telling people about finance that could be very like dense at time, just to like learn all these different things. And so what I'm asking is, can you explain to us your 5 elements of personal finance?
Yes. So I'll list out the 5 elements and then I'll just touch on them real quick. So overcoming financial anxiety is 1. Understanding credit impact is 2. Income versus spending is 3. A zero balance budget is 4. And then self-control is the last one. So overcoming financial anxiety, there are actually a lot of people that don't even realize they have financial anxiety. It can come in many different forms. A few that comes to mind is if you are afraid to swipe your card because you think you're about to get declined. That's a form of financial anxiety.
Wow.
If you, but most people don't even connect it to that. They just think, my money ran out this month.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you brought that up because like I definitely went to the store a couple of times and I'm freaking out. And then like my bank app is not working. And I'm like, do I even have enough money in my checking to even like go and purchase all these things? So like,
I'd be like swipe down, pay later.
Pay later. So, I mean, that's a form of financial anxiety. Another form of financial anxiety is ignoring debts, like pretending like it's not there. When they call you, you be like, oh, they just calling to get some money, but I don't have it. But not creating a plan to actually address the issue. That's another form of financial anxiety. So financial anxiety can come in many ways. Some people are like, show it all to me. I'm one of those people. I'm like, show it all to me. I need to see. And then there are other people, they're like, well, if I don't see that these people are coming after me, and if I don't see the impact that we're going right into the next one that is having on my credit, then it's not there. And so then, understanding the credit impact is so, so very important. I know that like I've personally like written a few blog posts and talked about credit specifically and understanding credit and all the elements involved. And I really hope that I actually have a short video on my Instagram channel. People take the time to look and listen. Making timely payments is one that you definitely should do. That one's ranked higher than some of the others. So it's just like being self-aware of what's involved in your credit and what's going to be the road to get you to where you want to go. Credit is buying power. That's literally what your credit is. It's a buying power. If you don't care about buying power, I mean, then credit don't mean nothing to you.
Thank you for touching on that. Because that was about to be my next question, but I'm going to go to the next one. What methods do you have in place to tackle debt?
Yes. Okay. So for
like credit cards, student loans.
For me, yeah, okay, so I created this tool that is a debt payoff planner and tracker. And what it allows me to do and allows me to help my clients do is we'll input your debt, your credit, what's the minimum payment, and then how much extra can you afford to pay. And we can see exactly when you're going to have that card paid off because we're projecting out your interest. We'll see how much interest you're going to pay. And then from there, I reassess. I know a very popular way of debt planning is the snowball method, which I definitely would recommend. It helps keep your momentum up.
I love it.
if you don't know what the snowball method is, that means that you list out all your debts and then you give them a rank starting from the debt with the lowest amount.
Mm-hmm.
I personally do a mix between snowball and avalanche, and then prioritize. Definitely the snowball method, or is very similar to the snowball and avalanche method. Does have something in common. You pay the minimum on all debts but one. So that's the common element. But the avalanche, you list out all of your debts, but you order them by interest rate. So the avalanche method, you'll end up paying less in the long run because you are attacking the things with the highest interest. But the avalanche method is hard, and a lot of people lose that, like, oh yeah, I did it momentum, because it's not as rewarding immediately. It usually takes longer to pay off just one debt. Whereas the snowball method, if you're hitting those little debts first, you're like, usually you can possibly hit your first debt in 1 to 2 months, 3 at the most. And so then you're like, yeah, I did it. I accomplished something. And then you move on to the next one. And then you again get that feeling, yeah, I did it. But the avalanche method, it usually take a few months before you get there. And people don't really, they lose hope, So I do a mix between the two. I try to get it to where you're not spending as much money in interest, but still keep that momentum going.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because I personally love the snowball method. Again, just to what you already said, that it's just a great way of being able to see rewards real quickly rather than having the avalanche. And yeah, I just like it that way. But what I really wanted to talk about is, you mentioned credit, right? And like credit, it's that buying power. But sometimes people have issues with improving their credit score. So what tips do you have in order to improve your credit score?
So first, you need to I can't speak, y'all. Request your credit reports from the 3 bureaus. So that would be Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Requesting your credit report is completely free.
Okay. So
you just can only do it one time a year. It's completely free. And so then after that, once you get your credit report, you want to dispute all errors located on your credit report that are false. So if someone's saying you owe them money and you don't, you need to call. I remember it didn't actually get to my credit report, but I remember an apartment complex that I was still living in at the time put me in collections. And I was like, they were like, we couldn't find you. I said, what you mean you couldn't find me? I'm in a whole new unit. I'm in your file, ain't I? And so it was during Hurricane Harvey in Houston, and they were forced to relocate my apartment. But I paid an amount when I moved out, but they said that I paid short. And I was like, I paid exactly what you told me, whose fault is that? And so I negotiated with them. I paid the collections people, but then I got a credit on my rent.
Oh, wow.
So you can't be afraid to reach out and be like, well, what's going on? Like, explain this to me. And then like earlier I said, make on-time payments, that's like one of the timely payments is one of the ones that you can easily control and that has a good, hefty impact on your overall credit.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, credit is one thing I think is really important. Some people don't know how to start or don't know where to go. I didn't know that you can get that one free one. So now I need to use that one so I can
yes.
be like, hold up, this ain't true, this ain't right. So I wanted to know, in this like journey that you're going on, I know we're talking about financial freedom through like debt, home ownership and different things like that. What does that mean to you, or what does that look like to you, financial freedom?
Financial freedom would definitely be, the husband and I paying off the remainder of our credit card debt. Us, while we did pay off 2 cars, so we ended up selling one and getting a new car for me. So canceling out that loan. I mean, I had all the intentions of keeping that car, but it stopped on me like stopped on me, took it to the auto shop. They fixed it, stopped again. And I was like, you know what? I don't want this life.
Mhm.
And then student loan debt and creating a baby fund so that when our children do get
Yes.
here, we're not stressed, running around trying to figure out how we're going to pay for this and pay for that.
Mhm.
Going to buy a house, I told you in the next 4 years, that's something we want to do. And just touching on house loans, if you can pay for your house in cash, I mean, all the power to you, but most of us can't. So I would recommend definitely looking into a 15-year fixed
Mhm.
loan. And you literally can save upwards of $100,000 over the course of the loan.
You would have to like pay more during the time, right?
You would have
more.
to pay more up front.
Mhm.
So let's say that a 30-year fixed loan, your rent was, I'm going to say $1,400 because this is in Houston, right? Houston, we have a pretty good cost of living.
I need to move there.
Everybody moving here now.
Yeah.
Everybody moving here now, so everything going up.
Yeah.
So like if you bought a house, you're probably going to end up spending anywhere from about $1,400 to $1,700, and that's around the upwards of $200, lower $300,000 home. If you did the 15-year fixed, instead of paying, I'm going to use $1,700 because that's more in line with what I'm looking at currently. So instead of $1,700, you might end up paying $2,100 or $2,200 for rent, for your mortgage. I'm sorry, but that's for 15 years, not 30 years. However, one thing that I will say, and I say the same thing about auto loans. If you cannot, first, do not buy a car if you can't afford to pay it off in 3 years.
Okay.
But
Thanks for that tip.
Take that advice. But if they give you, the 3-year rate for an auto loan, or if they give you the 15-year rate for a mortgage, and you're like, well, I can't afford that every month right now in my current situation. I mean, I could fly some extra money here and there, but I can't afford that every month. Then I would say, it's okay to get that 5-year auto loan, and it's okay to get that 30-year mortgage, as long as you are committed to paying an extra 1 to 2 payments a year until you get more income, change jobs, get some side hustles, and then you can start to contribute more money. So while the expected payment is lower, most people don't penalize you for paying it off early.
Okay, I see what you're saying. That makes sense. And so, was that something that you heard about, like the 3-year tip, or that's just something that you live by?
That's kind of something I live by. I don't think I've definitely read like hundreds of books by like financial people. I mean, 100 is exaggerating.
Yeah,
but,
I understand what you're saying.
But I've read so many, and there are definitely like pro tips out there. If you can't afford the monthly payment, you don't do it to yourself, because your car is going to end up getting repoed. That's going to negatively impact your credit. But the 3 years, I can't specifically remember getting it from someone and being like, yeah, but I know that your car value decreases the moment you drive it off the lot.
I know, so sad.
So yeah, decreases like drastically. So if you get a loan and that loan is like, okay, so like right now, right? Not to bash these auto companies out here, but a lot of them are offering like 7-year loans during this time right now, because they're like, well, we understand, your money's tight, but you want a new car. And I'm like, don't nobody sign up for no 7-year. Don't you do it to yourself. By the time you finish paying off that car, in maybe, if you are lucky, in 3 to 4 years, you're going to want a whole new car.
Definitely.
And that's if you keep it for 7 years. Most people only keep their cars for 3 to 5 years.
That is true. That is very true. It's funny because I actually have like a different take on like when it comes to cars. So like the way I was raised up, like my parents are just not about loans, because the first time we moved to this country, they bought a car using loan. It was like a $20,000 car. And it was like a Dodge, I think 1999 or something. And so ever since that day, my mom is just like, yep, no more loans. We're going to go to the auction and we're going to buy a car with cash. And typically we're able to find a car. Like I have a car right now that's 2007. That's a Vibe. And I got it for $1,500 at the auction. So that's...
Oh, no, I completely support it, right? I know, actually, it's like ironic that you mentioned that. All the people I know who buy auction cars, they're usually like first generation immigrants. And I'm like, why y'all didn't get us gems to the rest of us out here living in this life?
We over here getting auto loans. We over here paying all this stuff and y'all getting tea.
Y'all out here going and buying this car on auction. One of my good friends, like, her family is from Nigeria, and she told me that, and I was like, what? You did what? And I mean, her car is nice. I was like, you did what? So I would definitely say, you know, there are other things outside of loans. There are auctions, and then there's saving your money and then buying the car cash. If you want to get a cash car, I say if you save anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000, you literally could go in there, buy. I buy used. I think I should stipulate that. We buy used cars only here.
No new cars.
The lower mileage is always the dream, but like we buy used cars here, and if you go and you can get a used car or a certified car, and you saved if it's certified, you probably have to save about $15,000 to $16,000, but you can definitely get a nice used car, maybe 50,000 to 60,000 miles on it, and you could pay about $12,000, and not compared to your 1,500, but you can. And so there are definitely options out there. People have to realize, you know, there are options. You want to get you a good car, save money, and you don't mind, you know, I'm one of those people who will hunt. Like I will be on like all the sites, and I'm like, well, okay, this is this car got this many miles. Okay, let me go and compare it over here. Let me do a price check. So if you don't mind hunting, I definitely suggest doing the auction route. Or looking up used cars and then just trying to find one that, you know, looks like it was taken well care of.
So my next question is, what are some of your favorite Instagrams that are in this personal finance world?
Okay, so I have like 4. Product of Wealth. She actually has a very detailed list on high interest savings accounts. So I would definitely do that. She focuses on minority women. And then the Finance Bar, they always have like good gems that they're dropping like almost every day. And then the Financial Diet, they also have great like advice and like, you know, scenarios that they drop out. And then sometimes they share like little stories. And then the Clever Girl Finance. These are all like businesses in which I'm like looking like on their actual like Instagram every day, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what they post. I wonder what they're talking about. Like sometimes I learn things from them, you know. I will never say I know everything, and I tell my clients that too. If I don't know the answer, you best believe I'm about to try to go out and find it.
I love the transparency.
But yeah, like it's just no one knows all, you know.
Yeah, and you're always constantly learning and relearning things. So
yes.
So with that, I want to say thank you, you know, for coming and joining us. And just the last question that we have is just any tips to help people stay motivated on this debt-free journey, this journey to financial freedom that you would give to the people?
Yes, I want, like, you know, first thing is remember most of your financial goals are obtainable. They are obtainable as long as you have a realistic plan and timeline. So if I make $30,000 a year and my expenses are high, then I can't be going around saying I'm about to save $10,000 this year. That's just unrealistic. However, if I got a new job and I was making, you know, $50,000 a year, but I still live like I was making $30,000 a year, then I could save $10,000.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so and do not lose sight of your goals. It can be so hard to stay on track and to stay motivated, but whenever that happens, I open back up my planner and I'm like, what's my goal? Where am I focused? Oh, I want that Louis at the end of this.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah, that's the real goal.
this is the real goal, you know. Also, as we mentioned throughout this conversation, open a high yield savings account. Start an emergency fund if you don't have one.
Yes.
And if you need helps, tips, or advice, I do have a free emergency fund email challenge.
I just got it.
Yes, I saw you sign up. I was like, yay!
I'll have to sign up myself.
Because I need
and it's a total of 5 emails, and you get 1 email a week, and then each email is like, I'm not gonna say an assignment, but like you get information, and then you get something that you can do to help you reach that emergency fund goal.
I see what you're saying. Yes. And so, I don't know if, were you done with the tips? I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh yeah, I'm done.
Okay. And so then where can they find you if they want to coach with you? They want just inspiration on financial literacy. Like, where can they find you at on the social platforms?
Definitely on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @_fuller_than_life_. They can also find me on my website, which is www.fullerthanlife.com. And literally, I mean, I have a 20-minute free financial fitness call, and which during that financial fitness call, you know, they get a mini workbook. They get to feel how it's like to work with me. And then, you know, I also offer a plethora of services to meet my clients' goals and missions. The one that I highly recommend is the financial health check, where we take a deep dive into their current financial situation. But yeah, and my name is Fuller Than Life because my last name used to be Fuller. So
yes, I love the play on words. That's so funny. Oh yes, well, definitely appreciate all the gems that you dropped. Definitely go and check her out. Y'all gonna be doing the challenge with me, or trying to get this financial freedom. And COVID messes all up, but that's why I feel like this was a great time to launch this season, when everything's going on and people are having time to like literally like learn, engage, and just grow. And money, I mean, rules the world. You know, everybody was like, and what happens and different things like that. So I just want to be able to help educate people and provide a resource for them. So I definitely do appreciate you for coming on here and spending your time with us, and everything that you talked about. So I hope you enjoyed us as well.
I did. I definitely enjoyed my time. If y'all ever want to talk about finances again, just let me know.
Yes.
But it's true to my heart, and I'm very passionate about it.
Yes, that's really great. I'm passionate about money.
Money specifically.
Yes, no, I can't teach you the finance and stuff. You know, I said earlier, I don't really know too much about budgeting. So I got to figure out a different way. It's like some people budget, some people don't budget. Some people have all the different savings account or the different bank accounts. I'm just like, okay, let me see where I can fit in myself, you know, then the side hustle. And this. It's just like so much, like it's just so much dealing with money that you can do, that you can't do, and that you just don't even know what to do or how to do it. And so I just feel like it's just so much going on. So I feel like that's really the first thing and the first issue. For sure. It's like so much going on. But yeah, so definitely glad to have you on here to talk, to chat, and hope we can continue having these conversations and being able to be a resource to, you know, the community.
Yes. For sure. I really enjoyed talking to both of you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And y'all, make sure y'all follow her. Make sure y'all join the Facebook group, Millennial Thoughts, and stay tuned for the next episode. And it has been brought to my attention that the episode is over. I know. But if you want to keep on following up with us and staying tuned for the next episode, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Millennial Thoughts Pod. And I want to leave you with this. Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of purpose is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial Thoughts.